You're listening to the Board Game Snobs podcast, a ridiculous podcast with ridiculous hosts that discuss ridiculous things. And any mention of board games is purely coincidental. And so, without further ado, and with a heavy dollop of shame and embarrassment on my part, I give you the Board Game Snobs.
And go.
This is the Board Game Snobs podcast. This is the podcast that you wanted, that you requested, and now it's here. Thank you, Enrique.
You're quite welcome.
Enrique is here. Gabi's here acting as the main recorder person.
Hello.
Sound man, producer.
Sound engineer.
Yes.
Slash assistant?
Sound. You're the
assistant.
Are you the assistant?
You're Enrique's assistant.
To what?
I don't
Assistant
know.
Enrique.
Assistant to this man?
You're
over here?
assisting Enrique.
Are you
kidding
assisting
me?
Am I assisting? I'm assisting no one.
I
Well,
don't even-
I am here doing what I always do.
Technically, you're assisting us by making this recording.
We're all assisting everyone together all at
Is
the
this
same
true,
time.
Jerry?
It's a circle assist.
I'm here by myself.
I'm here with everyone.
I came here with an agenda.
What's your agenda?
I don't really have, like, when I say agenda, I don't mean like plan, but I just have an agenda. Like I have something in the back of my mind I would like to accomplish,
Okay. What was
which
it?
would be to influence people,
Okay.
not necessarily in a positive way.
It's not necessary.
I'm drinking
Agenda accomplished.
this box wine that your wife gave me,
She gave
it's
you
wine.
the box wine?
this
alcohol?
Pinot Grignac.
I don't mind it. I think it's pretty good.
It's good. It's just cheap wine.
It does its job, is
From
what
a
I like to say.
cardboard box. Why should you hate on it? If it tastes good, it doesn't matter if it comes from a box.
We're pro cardboard here.
Why does it matter if it comes from a bottle or a box?
And you know what? No one could tell the difference if you poured two different ones.
Probably not.
Not even sommeliers.
Yes, they can, actually.
Probably they
They're
could.
very good.
Maybe they could.
They're experts in what they do. It's very difficult. Enrique,
Yes.
you've done nothing with your life lately except to go to Six Flags with me.
Yes.
I took you to Six Flags.
You took me to Six Flags? Yes, you did. You
Yeah,
drove me
technically,
there.
I drove you there.
You drove me there.
You
Yeah, you're
lack
right.
the ability to transport yourself to that area.
Technically, you
Still
offered
yet.
me
A ride.
a ride
And
to
you
hang
s-
out with you for a little bit.
A ride to many rides, you might say.
to
Yes.
take me on a quest upon getting your daughter a shotgun.
Well, yeah, she needs to be able to protect herself.
Was that done at Six Flags?
No, you can't
No.
buy a shotgun at Six Flags.
That would be
unfortunately.
I
amazing,
was
though.
I just was following what
It
Enrique
was,
said.
Six
That'd be a
Flags
very
over
Texan
Texas.
thing.
You think they would just give out a free handgun when you check in?
I
Rifles.
just want a free handgun.
A raffle.
Raffle.
Raffle for
Raffle.
a raffle.
Not
A
many
riffle?
raffles.
For the riffraff.
That's enough riffing.
Please. So you've done that. You went to Six Flags with me.
That is right.
You had a copious amounts of fun.
Yes.
We went to
Hey,
Dave and Buster's.
we were killing David Buster's,
Yes, we
man.
killed at Dave and Buster's.
I taught you how to play
With
a
the
coin
rifles you
machine.
got?
No, with Enrique figuring out how to play this one game. He was trying to get the most tickets.
I don't care for the ticket thing. I've never cared for the
I-
tickets. What did you
Dude.
get with them? Did you get something with your tickets?
I didn't get anything with him.
Yes,
See,
he
that's,
did.
That's my. They're
Yes,
pointless.
he did. Yes, he did.
You get a billion tickets. It takes a billion tickets to get a little teddy bear or
No, it
something.
doesn't. It takes 5,000 tickets to get. It takes roughly 5,000 tickets will get you like that big Nerf gun.
And how many tickets do you get winning one game?
Well, that's the point. That's the point right there. So Enrique and I were scouting out the various games and figuring out which ones we could game just right and get the maximum amount of points for our efforts. Enrique found a
Skee ball.
No,
Oh.
found a coin machine that as you're throwing quarters into it, it would push those coins off. You know, that you can see
Oh,
them.
I'm very familiar.
Well, those are rigged.
I sank a fortune to those.
Those are very, very much rigged.
What?
Enrique figured out that a particular one he thought was primed. And he said, if you let other people play it, it gets primed to the point to where you can then hit the jackpot. Well, he then sits and describes to me after playing several rounds of it that this is what you can do. And if it's this thing is lit up and this thing's lit up, then you know it's primed. And then he left with another friend of ours and was playing like air hockey. And I happened by this same machine that he was watching. And guess what?
It was primed.
It was primed. And typically, out of all the other games he's playing, you'd win maybe 100 tickets at best. At best. Like, I think the most tickets you'd win off one game is like 150 tickets, possibly off like an average game, about 50 or 60 tickets off the ones that were skill-based. I hit the jackpot on this.
That would require 50 victories to get 5,000 tickets.
It took you your calculator out to figure that out.
Yes.
Are you listening?
50 victories.
Are you listening?
I'm listening.
You're not listening.
I'm listening.
1,200 tickets.
You said 5,000.
I hit 1,200 tickets.
Oh, you got 1,200 tickets.
Off Enrique's watching this machine and saying it's primed. And it was indeed.
Did you shake it violently?
No.
Like they're so
Did
heavy.
you have it like a
They're
horseshoe
so heavy.
magnet and you held up to the
No,
quarters?
no.
hoping
No,
it
like
sucked
it's
into
just extremely heavy with coins that
Mhm.
it's impossible to actually shake this thing.
Enrique would know.
Plus, I think you're not supposed to.
But
Oh, no.
either way,
Probably illegal.
we found several other games that we were like working around, figuring out.
Skee ball?
There's a bowling game
Bowling game.
that I was tearing it up.
The axe throwing game. That's
The
fun.
axe throwing game.
Do they have the one where you donk the things
No,
on the head?
sad-
No,
Sadly-
they don't do the I hate that.
The whack-a-mole.
Whack-a-mole.
But they do the lightning round thing, which is kind of like whack-a-mole with the lights, your
Oh, yeah.
reflexes. And so it's all basically these various iterations of these games. And some you could figure out quite quickly. This is rigged. There's no way you're going to hit the jackpot. But there's some that, yes, it is possible. And that was one of them. Good to read.
So did you use your tickets to get anything?
No,
No,
he has like 10,000 tickets.
Yeah. Just
And-
say
and
That
it
would
was
take 100 victories.
Nah, it'll be fine.
But-
And previously, before Jerry got his 1,200, I was already
Previously, before.
I was already priming that one because
Yeah, way
I got
back.
a small
So
victory.
you're just the primer.
I think I primed it a
He
little
goes
bit,
there, he goes-
where I got about 700 tickets
Yeah.
from that machine alone.
So, yeah, so Enrique has it figured out. And
So you're the primer.
I think you're missing the point. though.
Enrique's Jerry's the hitter.
You're missing the point. You're saying, what are you getting from these tickets? It's the idea of mastering a game is what you get.
Yeah.
And that's what it is being able to beat the system. That's what you get from it.
But you want the tickets.
No.
If they had skee ball,
So then-
I would have. I would
They had
have.
skee ball, but skee ball
Did
is
they?
very difficult.
Ah,
So you could just give your tickets to somebody else and say, I'm not here for these.
Well, no,
Well-
it's a representation of you winning.
So do you like walk around with the tickets just like draped around
No,
your
it's
neck?
all electronic. You've
Yeah,
not
Like
it's-
a
you're-
showy
digital.
display
you are dating yourself so bad
Showy
because they're
display
not
of your-
actual tickets.
of your victory as they're draped around your neck like a wreath of victory.
They're not actual tickets. That's
Oh.
all done digitally now.
it's so boring, actually, a little bit.
I know. The physical ticket, that was awesome.
That's
just
awesome.
walk
That's
around with
weird.
Just
I hated
a
those.
wad of tickets.
Hated those.
I
But
think
either way, I like those skill-based games where you're trying to figure out how is this done, if it's rigged or not. I like that.
you thought when we were at, I forget, I think it was a bowling alley, and they had skee ball.
Mhm.
You said
Oh,
it was impossible to get those 1,000 points.
5,000.
Is it
It's like
5,000?
5,000 in the corners. And I was like, how difficult it is to get up in there. And Enrique like figured out exactly where you had to hit on the ramp just right and was like nailing that 5,000 corner shot like 2 or 3 times in a row.
Damn.
I've never been any good at skee ball. I
Well-
just like playing it.
I know, but that's the point is that me and Enrique go to find something that is skill based. And then
But you're
figure it
talking
out.
about quarters. That's not skill based.
Oh, it
It
very
literally
much is.
robs people of their quarters all across the nation.
Well, no, it is skill
That's
based.
the reason
it-
they set them up is so that they can take all your
you
money.
have to like tactically find out.
I mean, you could look at one and
you
say,
can look at
I'm
one
not
and
gonna stick
see
my
is
quarters
it
into
good?
there.
Is it ready? And
Yeah. There are some electronic ones that are rigged. Like I think the Deal or No Deal game is rigged.
oh yeah, straight
think
up,
it's-
yeah.
I think
no,
Deal-
like
no
I
Deal-
stopped playing that
it's
thing
rigged.
because it's rigged.
But
one
no.
arm bandit.
But there's tons of those games like that. Yes, there is a way of winning it, and it's just what's your best.
Do you get tickets from the basketball one?
I don't do those very much because those basketball ones are typically they'll warp the hoop.
Yeah.
But the ones where you're throwing the ball at the cans or the clowns or whatever, tear that one up.
There's a lot of like fair game, like carnival
And
games.
well, they had a moving cornhole one.
Oh, yeah.
That was based off
That was
lights,
good.
and we played that several times. And I was showing we played like 2 or 3 times in a row, and I decided that it as well was set up to where you could not get the multipliers enough to actually hit the jackpot.
Yeah.
Like you get because
you have to like do it really fast.
you just could not, like timing wise, you just were not going to be able to do it. Like it was rigged where you're always going to fall short of that. So there's some like that, and then that's also a thing, is getting to the point that you can identify that this is too rigged, it's too stacked against you.
And they had some of the old retro games, like
Arcade games like the Asteroids and stuff
yeah.
like that. Enrique inheriting on the high score on Space Invaders.
Yeah, that was nice. It was like
Just like that. That's what they did the entire time.
yeah, like
just scream.
you could
You're
just
very
hear our
excited.
yelling across.
Yes, it was
the
very
room.
odd.
And
Very
it was
odd.
loud in there.
Your space was not invaded.
It was not.
Nor his privacy.
I would say at one point in time, though, it was, or else you wouldn't be here. You'd still be playing Space Invaders.
But you
so
had a
they
fine
did
time.
eventually
It was a fine
invade
time.
your
And I'm
space.
glad-
I bought a book that I still need to read.
Please.
Sherlock Holmes, the short stories
Yes.
by
Arthur
Arthur Conan Doyle.
Yeah, same guy.
Sir, to you.
Sir, I'm sorry.
He was knighted, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
He's the Dark Knight.
By the Queen.
But that should be an interesting read.
She was that old.
So, are we getting into this?
We're going to get
Already?
into games
Okay.
here in a second.
Okay, I'm just making
You're just
sure.
you're getting really ahead of yourself.
You are.
I'm just talking.
Okay, I have something I found.
What did you find?
And
Is
I'm
this the
interested.
banter section?
I want
We
to
were
know.
in the banter section?
Don't be
Dang.
so meta. You guys are so meta. Okay. And I'm interested if you think this is a person with extremely good fortune or extremely bad fortune, because
Oh.
it can go either way.
I believe you
Okay.
make your own fortune.
In 1999, skydiver Joan Mary's parachute malfunctioned,
Parachute.
causing her to fall 14,500 feet.
Mm-hmm.
It's a long ways. Her backup parachute opened at 700 feet, but it quickly deflated, and she continued to plummet towards the ground at 80 miles per hour. Miraculously Murray survived the fall thanks to the fact that she landed directly onto a mound of fire ants.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Doctors believe that the intense shock of being stung over 200 times by the ants released a surge of adrenaline which kept her heart beating. She survived. So this person not only has a parachute that fails, and then the secondary fails, and then they land on a mound of ants that sting you 200 times.
Okay.
But all of those things kept her alive.
I don't believe that story.
So do you think she's
Well,
fortunate or unfortunate?
Well, the question is, did anything I'm assuming something broke during that fall. Like she lost something in that fall.
Well, I mean, it didn't go into, I didn't go in, that's just like the cover, bam, like the blurb.
Okay, well, if it's just that, then I would say fortunate.
Well, she survived.
Yeah, she survived.
She's alive.
From that just story alone, she sounds very
But how many
fortunate.
bad things that's a lot of bad stuff happening to you on one skydive.
Hey, at least you survived
No,
those
that's
bad
true.
things.
I would argue is that that chain of events was set into motion by her own personal choice. It wasn't that she was forced to skydive because her plane was on fire.
Oh, true.
So she
Just for
chose to do
funsies.
that. And so, yes,
Therefore, she knew the risk.
these
of
things
it
took
happening.
place. And so she was fortunate to survive because the various poor things that happened still resulted in her living. But I don't believe that story not one bit about the ants. That makes no logical sense.
What, the fire ants?
Yeah.
I can only quote to you what I read off of Twitter, off of a random website
Well, you can
called
quote it.
morbidknowledge.com.
It doesn't make any sense because does your body survive just off adrenaline?
No.
No. If you have massive traumatic injury and you're lost enough blood, there's no amount of adrenaline that's going to keep you alive.
That's why I want to know. Like something had to break during that fall.
Right. Yeah,
And she had and 80 miles per hour. You're not going to tell me not a single bone pierced.
I'm
through
sure
the
she was
skin.
hurt. I'm sure she was hurt. Like and that's why the whole fire ant thing just seems like something that was tacked on later.
Where was this at? Did he say where it was at?
It doesn't matter. Probably in a place that has fire ants.
Well, like
Texas.
does Texas have fire ants?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
It does say she's a former American skydiver. I guess maybe she quit after that.
or she's dead.
Typically, let's see. This is now. This is off a very tuco.co.ke. Take with that what you
Sounds like a
will.
Russian misinformation site.
I'm probably getting bots all on my computer now. Typically, a person has a 50% chance of dying if they fall from a height of 48 feet. However, the mortality rate increases to 100% if the person falls from a height of 80 feet and above. That's not true either. So that would mean everyone that's ever fallen from that height is dead, which I just read to you a story, and I've heard other stories of people falling from like a few thousand feet.
Yeah, people
skydiving and
survive.
they miraculously survive. So the 100% is not correct. Already, I'm dismissive of tuco.co.ke in this website.
I'm dismissive because there's no doctor. How are they going to determine these?
This one also does says she will always thank a mound of fire ants that kept her alive.
I know, but that doesn't mean anything.
She thanks it every day.
She thinks it or thinks of that, but it doesn't mean that that's what kept her alive. I would argue that her falling on that mound of fire ants, them biting her, had nothing to do with her surviving that event.
I still want to just know what like broke on her.
What injuries did she suffer?
Yeah.
Enrique's obsessed with this.
Like I want to know.
Okay, well, let me say.
More than likely,
Interesting.
since she was not at terminal velocity, it was that secondary chute that slowed her down enough, and that's the tip type of ground that she struck that kept her from dying. Not some fire ants.
I want to know. How
It's
bad.
saying the ant stings were venomous, thus they shocked her heart and kept it beating.
No.
Also, the stings caused her body to produce more adrenaline, which kept her alive until the paramedics arrived.
No.
Gave her some quick aid and transported her to the hospital.
No, that's not.
There you go, Enrique. My God.
Yes.
You should be happy.
Yes.
What injuries did Joan Murray sustain? When she arrived at the Carolina Medical Center, doctors determined that Joan Murray's skydiver injuries included shattered bones on the right side of her body, and she lost a few teeth. Thus, they put her in a coma and performed 20 reconstructive surgeries and 17 blood transfusions. The surgeries included inserting a metal rod into her right leg and 5-inch spikes into her pelvis. Also, Joan Murray suffered a...
Commuted?
Yeah, they misspelled it. Commuted, they spelled it it doesn't matter.
Communistic.
Yeah,
a communistic fracture.
A communistic femur fracture.
Sorry, comrade. But your leg is ours.
Fortunately, Joan had no significant hollow viscous injuries to the organs within her abdominal cavity.
We must take you back to surgery. Quit stalling. Get it? Because Stalin and communism. I made that connection really fast.
So there. Are you happy now that she got her bone shattered? Is that what
On
you
the
were
right
seeking?
side,
We're putting your blood back in.
on.
I can't think of
You're
any more.
putting your blood back?
I'm trying to think of any other puns I could use. Russian puns.
That's just interesting. It was only only her right side.
Oh my God, you are obsessed with her injuries.
Well,
Yes.
I just think it's interesting on how just the right side of her body and all her
Enrique's not buying this ant story.
He's
It
not.
sounds
I
overflated,
don't
and
know.
I have agreed with him. I don't like this story. This is dumb. This is some.
All right.
I think
Right.
they
I read
just
it
put
to
the
you.
fire ants just to make it more
This
interesting.
is disinformation.
I found at least 2 sources.
No.
And the second source was quoting the first source.
Yeah, those are not primary sources.
And besides, if she had adrenaline pumping,
You know what? I'm going to give Joan Murray a call.
And
Let me
she
see if I can
had
find her
any,
phone
like,
number.
cuts,
Get her on Facebook.
or she's bleeding
Look her
internally,
up on LinkedIn.
she's dead within a couple of seconds.
See if anybody's got any LinkedIn. Do we do
Oh,
LinkedIn?
darn. I think she died anyway. Hold on.
What you done?
Oh, she's dead.
Yeah, I know it.
No, wait. This is from Wilmington Funeral and Cremation. Joan Leslie Murray.
Dead.
Dead. Only a couple days after.
Listen. Oh, R.I.P. Joan. Although Joan is known for her bright smile and warm hospitality, she's most recognized for her surviving a skydiving accident in September of 1999. Yet, age she could not defeat. She died last year, May 23rd, 2022.
How old?
Oh, wait, hold. Joan passed away. She battled cancer
Oh,
for the past 29 months and is finally free of her pain.
there you go.
R.I.P. Joan.
Nope.
I don't believe the ant story.
R.I.P.
I'm just saying, like, if she had
We
any
have to.
internal bleeding or
For
any
Joan.
bleeding,
I don't believe it. No,
For Joan.
I'm not
Got to.
believing it for Joe.
her entire
Joan,
right
come
side
on.
was shattered. You
Yeah.
telling me not a single bone cut something in there?
Enrique's making some solid points.
You're like, you can't, and if
Unlike
the
her right
adrenaline
side.
is keeping her alive,
Yes, he did air quotes just then. Alive. Yeah.
like
She
she
was
should be dead within a couple of seconds. She
Look,
should have been
look,
dead the
I
moment like
believe
the
Joan.
50 bites in.
I
Here's
believe
why
Joan.
I don't believe it. Because I have worked in the medical field for over 20 years, and I wish I had $1 for every time some patient told me something that was highly false that supposedly a doctor told them, or that even I told them, or that some other medical professional said, "Oh, I would have been dead in 3 hours." And they repeat that stuff and act like it's somehow legitimate.
So instead of, if you don't have a defibrillator nearby, just throw the person on a pile of fire ants.
Yeah. Just
Hold on, Bob.
quick, put this 9-volt battery in your mouth. You know?
Joan, I believe in
What if somebody's heart stops and then like, oh, Aunt Mary's over there? No, not that type of aunt. She's over there biting on you. I read this on a Russian site. My venom.
200 bites from ants, not aunts.
Oh,
Joan,
you're just sad I made that joke before
Person-
you did. You know you were cooking it.
65, 75, 85,
I already told you she's 68.
05, 15. Dang. She didn't make it to 70.
No.
No.
Okay, so that was the best that you had there. That's good. Thank you. Let's
It
move.
gave us a good 5
It
minutes
gave us
of
a
ant
good-
fodder.
That's some good content. If I had to
And
rank,
Enrique's complete discipline, obsession with her broken
I'm
bones.
just-
I
saying.
like Enrique's thought pattern there. I enjoy.
I'm going to laugh when they exhume her body based on this podcast and verify that indeed she was bitten by over 200 fire ants.
That's not what I'm arguing. I don't care if she's bitten by 2,000. That is not what would have kept her alive.
I just tell you what, tico.ku.ce.
I know. But I'm just saying, you're just spreading the same misinformation.
I'm not spreading it.
All of our thousands upon thousands of listeners are now going, I bet this is true. Like, no, you're misinforming the youth. The youths. You're
Let's see.
misinforming the youths.
Here we go. Factrepublic.com.
Oh, yeah. Anything that says fact and republic, the fact republic.
Survived while skydiving. Venomous stings, fire ants caused adrenaline rush, kept her heart beating. Literally, all of these are saying
I still
the
don't
same
believe
thing.
that.
They're just repeating stuff. There's and that is a heartwarming story. No pun intended. But at the same time, I just simply, I don't buy it. I don't buy it.
I'm just, like I said previously, there's no way she had no bleeding at all.
Yes, yes. And that I think that she barely survived, and it was probably due to the secondary chute slowing her down below terminal velocity. She's doing about 80 miles an hour, which I'm assuming that was from her altimeter or whatever that they had that was recording her speed. And thus she hit the ground in a soft spot and hill. And more than likely, that's probably what kind of, kept her
And I'm
alive.
pretty sure she got really lucky by just having.
I'm clicking on this button that says source, and it just takes me to skydiving.com, and there's nothing there.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Is a scam.
Oh, now I got to find
But-
skydiving.com.
And I think it's also fortunate it just all her bones on the right side.
Yes,
which
she
shattered.
landed on her right
Enrique, she landed on her right side.
But Enrique's got some points.
I'm just saying. It's just,
He doesn't. He's quick to be skeptical, as one should be.
and when I'm hopefully right.
Yes, and one should not just spread this type of willy-nilly misinformation. And
for the Bantz.
when I'm wrong because I thought
Ants
I
for
was
the
right.
Bantz.
I firmly believed in it. What I said.
And I choose my moments.
You choose your moments.
I love choosing my moments.
Speaking of which, we're going to talk about a game now. I think it would be apropos considering that this is an award-nominated podcast. We haven't had on
Okay.
anything.
Question is,
yeah.
are we going to get the bad ones out? Out
No.
of the way first,
Well, no,
or-
we're going to talk about. We're going to go in order.
that regard,
Okay.
real quick, real
In
quick,
order.
because it's not going to be long before that all starts coming back around.
Golden Geek.
Do not nominate us for the Golden Geek.
Why not?
Why not?
Just don't.
Why?
Don't.
What?
I don't want it.
Yeah, you
You
do.
don't want it?
Don't want it.
It's all you talk about.
I never talk about it.
Yeah, you do.
Do not nominate us.
Why not?
We don't
Is
deserve
this
it.
reverse psychology?
Shut up, Enrique. Enrique, God dang it. Enrique.
I
Do
desperately want it.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
You don't even want reviews. You don't even want people knowing about
5-star
us.
reviews on Spotify.
You don't-
Please.
You do not
Tell
want
your
that.
friends.
No, give us any reviews.
I want you
So what?
to go to work and tell your coworkers about the board game
Don't
Snobs.
tell them about us.
And
Do
say,
not.
I listen. Do you like board games? And they're like, no. Well, listen here, Karen. They don't talk a lot about board games.
Jessica.
They talk about, I use Karen because that's just a generalized term. I'm trying to normalize Karen as an individual that is just it's not a slur.
I know a lady named Karen, and she's very nice.
All the Karens I know are nice. And some of my best friends are Karens.
We're,
Some of the,
we're three reviews away on Apple from being 100. Do not get us to 100.
we don't, I want that so bad.
No,
I don't
do
even
not give it
have
to
an
us.
Apple phone or item in my possession.
I mean, do not do it.
I did have one of those Apple little clip-on sound things. The iPod.
Oh, yeah.
The little
Those were
clip-on
for
ones.
running and
For
stuff.
running.
Yeah.
Because my wife run, and
Back in
I
the
like
day?
to run, and I clipped that on and listened to it. And that was very nice. I enjoyed
It
it.
was very lightweight.
It was, and you would forget about it, and it
Mhm.
clipped on. And I thought that would be a
But you
comment.
did have to have an actual wire go into the hole.
This was not Bluetooth time.
This wasn't Bluetooth
This
era.
was not Bluetooth
I'm
era.
a Bluetooth guy now. I got to have Bluetooth headphones. I can't have the wire bothering me. It
Oh yeah,
drives me
yeah,
insane.
yeah. I understand. Yeah, Bluetooth is the way to go now. Naturally.
Is there anything like, I feel like we've been stuck at Bluetooth for a while. I feel like there should be an advancement.
Well, strangely, you should say that. I hooked up a soundbar here recently that was Bluetooth enabled, and I utilized the Bluetooth instead of the actual cord to the TV. And Bluetooth is not in any way comparison in terms of sound quality. You lose a lot of sound quality through Bluetooth. And so I just don't think that right now we're going to get to a point where sound is going to be that great in comparison between the cords and Bluetooth. I don't think we're quite there yet.
Is that, I know Bluetooth is short range, so I guess the FM frequency is much more powerful. Or is that even, I don't even know how that operates. Is Bluetooth a frequency?
No, I don't think it's a frequency. I think Bluetooth is an actual, I wish Bubba was here because we've talked about this before. It's I don't think it's, don't quote me on it. I'm sure there is a frequency or there's something of that nature, or unless anybody could just hook up to catch your Bluetooth in the air, but it's an actual connection. Like, yeah, people can get your, just like you can
Intercept it.
Yeah, you can intercept it. But something. I don't think it's necessarily a frequency, so to speak. Somebody should write in at boardgamesnobs@gmail.com, and I'm sure somebody will mention the symbol and Bluetooth and Vikings because that all is a thing that we've talked about previously. But we need to know about the systems of it. How does it work?
I do.
But what we're talking about, we were talking about board games, and not to nominate us.
Do not nominate
But
us for
please
the Golden Geek.
do, because I want to win.
We will never win.
Yes, we will.
It's going to be
Another 5 years, we'll
Board
win.
Game Hot Takes will win.
We'll win. We will.
There's several other
winning.
podcasts. We're not going to
Listen,
win.
this.
it takes
Gamecasters will get nominated
all
this
I
year.
have to do.
I'm telling you.
I haven't listened to the Gamecasters in a long
We're
time.
going to get nominated
I
this
don't really like. I don't really like Jeff. I'm going to tell you
Jeff's
right
a
now.
sweetheart.
Jeff.
Jeff's a
They
sweetheart.
don't ever email me or talk to me. I don't listen to their
Natalie's
show.
What did you
sweetheart.
do?
They probably don't listen to us anymore.
They don't either.
But I still listen
I
to
did
them.
commercials
Jeff's
for
a
them.
sweetheart. Natalie's a sweetheart.
Back when they were
Ryan.
Wait,
nothing.
They had
A
commercials?
sweetheart.
Yes, I did.
We both ran commercials for them for the Gateway Network.
Oh, yeah. I
And
forgot
did
about it.
anyone ever do anything for us?
No.
We were
No.
the largest on the Gateway Network.
Nobody did nothing for us.
We were trying to launch them.
Ryan and them talked about us. The Gamecasters did, but the rest of that the rest of that network was terrible.
Except that guy that cut hair.
Who?
The guy that we had on.
Roberto.
He was cool.
Does he still do a show?
I
wonder?
hope so. I need to talk to him. Because I'm growing a beard. Me and Enrique are both growing
Oh,
beards.
yeah.
I'm growing one too.
Yeah.
I just had to shave it off recently
Oh.
though.
Yeah,
Why?
Because I don't know how to grow a beard, but I trimmed it.
You just meditate really hard.
Okay.
Think about it. Enrique, please.
Both of us.
I think I grew.
No,
grew
don't.
Like I have
don't. No.
Grow.
No, don't make the owls. This is going to get
On
clipped.
3. 1, 2, 3. Grow. Beard. There it is. Just a little hair plops out.
You know what? I think you like a half inch, maybe.
Maybe I'm confusing beards with hemorrhoids.
Either way,
Mm-hmm.
Gateway Network was not a success for us.
It was not.
It's unfortunate.
They became Gamecasters.
Ryan had a nice idea.
Are the no pun
just didn't
included to
work.
our shut up and sit down.
It just did not work.
We launched them. It doesn't matter. Anyways, we're not really a board game podcast, so it doesn't matter, I guess.
Board game adjacent, as you
We
say.
are adjacent. I'd like to adjacently talk about a board game that you purchased that I very wisely held off buying for a long time simply because I saw a pattern.
And now, for your pleasure, a board game review.
This is Whistlestop by Bezier Games. And that's not the one that was made by Allspock. Ted, the guy who did the other tile laying game, one of the first games we ever played together.
Yeah, I know. The city building one.
Yeah, it's leaving me right now. It's a tile laying game, very respected.
Suburbia.
This game's made by a different designer whose names leaves me, but Gabi will look it up. Right. Whistlestop is a tile laying game where individuals place their trains on one side of a map, and then you lay out tiles slowly as your trains advance across the map, landing on various areas, basically collecting various cubes. You use these cubes to purchase either upgrades or go to various areas and pay for various bonuses or stocks until eventually you get to the other side of the board and gain points. The whole idea of the game is building a route and moving your train through said route. It's very interesting because laying down the tiles, it's all very, I would say that's kind of a neat little quaint mechanism.
It's very Carcassonne-ish in that regard.
It is. And speaking of Carcassonne, which I do not like at all.
I hate
Carcassonne. I would say I'm borderline on that type of hatred as well. That this is the most entry-level tile laying game that I would play. And one of the reasons I never bought Whistlestop was because it was constantly being sold on the virtual flea market at BGG. And when I see a game that is chronically being bought and sold, it makes me wonder, what's the deal? Is this one of those games that you play a couple times and then you're done with it? Mm-hmm. I think that this game fits a very niche. And
my nephew.
We're past that niche. And it's not our taste. And so I never purchased it. You got a good deal on it. We played it. It was fine. We enjoyed it. If you're looking for a family-based tile laying game, then yeah,
to me, it's a step up from Carcassonne.
It is.
I would rather play this than Carcassonne, which I hate.
Obviously.
This game by Scott Caputo. I think we did kind of, being our first time playing, I wasn't really aware of where I should go, how I should really lay these train tracks, unaware of how some of these train tracks you can just get completely screwed, put yourself in a loop, or get completely blocked off from making any moves further than your first one you made by other trains. But by the time we finally got things sussed out and got about halfway across the board and kind of realized, the flow of the game, and then you get to the other side and there's some big bonus points. You have to collect these cubes. Once you collect those cubes, you turn those cubes in for these big bonus points at the end of the game, or shares in these stocks. That's the game. That's literally the game. It's just collect resources, turn those resources in for points and stocks. And the stocks count for mega points if you have the majority share. I start, like many games, unfortunately, I start off watching the videos and I'm like, because I grasp it so quickly and easily, like I appreciate that. And we'll get into that. I don't know if this podcast or the future one about all these super fast card games we've gotten into, thanks to, from, in my regard, Joffrey from BGG. These just super easy to grasp card games that take no time to play. They're super fun, super interesting. Bam, you're done. I would rather play those than this game because this game it's too long for what it does. It's just not that interesting. You're just moving these trains along this track and you pay coal to do so from one stop to the next. There's a little bit of, obviously there's some strategy in trying to hit these particular depots that give you the minerals or coal or whatever resources you need for the points you need to turn those into. Just like any other game of this ilk. It's nothing special to me, though.
I did not. It wasn't nothing special. And I think that you even made the comment afterward, you didn't feel like there was much of a strategy to it. Like you're just simply looking out, going, all right, I'm going to go here and just catch
I need the blue, a red, and a green
as you go.
That's it.
And it is kind of one of these games where you just kind of get lost in its easiness and its quaintness, where you're just putting stuff out and you're just trying to get the trains across. There was never a point to where you're really thinking very deeply about, nor do you really feel like you're actually having to really engage with this game to figure out how am I going to get this from point A to point B. Everything I wanted to do, I did. And at the end, it was like, okay, who had the most dogs?
It's nothing harder than looking and say, oh, I need a blue, a red, and a green. Okay, here's a blue, here's a red, here's a green. Let me go to those spots.
After you made that comment about there not really being a strategy, we played another small game called Trio, which we played with Joffrey at the BGG. It's the American version of 90-90. It's that Trio little card game. It's a memory game, cards from 1 to 12. You think of it kind of like a gamer's version of Go Fish. Everybody gets cards dealt out to them, and the rest of the cards that you don't use are spread out in a little small face-down tableau out in the middle of the table. And you're basically the only questions that you can ask the other players is, show me your highest card or show me your lowest card. And all you're trying to do is find 3 cards or a trio of all those cards, even if they're cards from your hand. So you can say, Enrique, show me your highest card. And if it's a 12, he lays it down. Well, if your highest card's a 12, you can say, I'm going to show my highest card and lay down a 12. And hopefully you either know somebody else at the table that you can ask to say, hey, show me your highest card. And it happens to be a 12, you win that trick. Or your other option is to go out to this tableau that's face down, flip over one of those cards, and then you get to play like this weird memory game of trying to remember if that's not the card, then you got to go find it somewhere else. You flip the cards back face down. And so it is a memory game of knowing whose lowest card is what and where these cards out here in this tableau are. And it's a quick, easy little game with very little strategy other than don't give away too much information. I liked Trio very much. I enjoyed it. And I think the reason is because the engagement with this game, even though it was easy, it's neat trying to gain this one little system, plus one little memory part. I never felt like I was engaged with Whistlestop. I never felt like I was competing against Enrique. It's like the game was over and who won? And it just was not that interesting, even though there were a lot more bits and bobs with Whistlestop. Trio to me felt like a much more, it's a 3 to 6 player game. Trio is, and it just felt much more. I was more entertained by that little card game that we played. Yeah. One round of it in 5 minutes than I was Whistlestop.
I mean, I would rather play however many games it takes to equal the time it took us to play Whistlestop.
And it's not a comparison of what's the strategy. It's really not. It's
enjoyment.
It's the not. I don't want to even use that term because that's too.
All right.
Well, it's too generic. Like, oh, I enjoyed this. That's subjective. To put it in an objective way, it would be how easy is the game. And then in that circle of, okay, this game's super easy, how much interaction and what type of interaction there are with players and what exactly is the mechanism that I'm using to make choices. So it's like, yeah, Trio, all you're doing is go fish mechanism. Show me your highest card, show me your lowest card type thing. It's a variant of that. Then
memory.
There's a memory portion of it. But you're engaged the entire time. I have to pay attention to everybody's turn.
Yes.
And it's fun. And it's quick. And it's fun because, oh, you forgot which one his highest was. And I asked it again. Oh, I knew what his highest card was. He didn't have, it's stuff like that. Whereas Whistlestop, very easy decision making. There's no interaction. It's moving along a track. And for us, it just doesn't fire off in the way that feels like if it's going to be no interaction, there needs to be more mechanisms to it to keep me entertained. If I'm going to play a game that's basically I'm soloing this, then I need to be feeling like I'm fighting against the game.
I think, so I had posted to our Facebook group, we're playing this. Ryan Maxwell's like, oh, it's in my top 10 of all time. I'm going to guess, of course, to each their own. You can enjoy what you enjoy.
You don't need to hate what you're going to say. Just say what you're going to say.
Okay.
You're talking trash about Ryan, aren't you?
No, I'm thinking because he often plays with his family. This is a family level weight game.
Yes, and you're a childless person.
And if you enjoy that with your family, the classic, if you like family games, this game's for you.
Yes.
I don't enjoy here's a
caveat with that, though.
Well, that's
I'm going to add my caveat to that.
Hold on. You just a second. All these card games, family weight games.
Right.
I will play those any day over the family weight gameness of Whistlestop.
Okay. But, and as I was going to add this caveat, couldn't stop you before you made this comment. You don't have kids, and kids don't typically engage with just, here's a card. these family weight card games typically don't hook kids that well unless they're real gamers, like really into the hobby. Whereas little trains, this mechanism of moving around, getting cubes, that type thing, that's a family weight game that does engage kids. So if I had a family weight game like Whistlestop, I guarantee you, I take that, my kids get into it, then yeah, I'm going to play that game. It's going to be one of the games. And even though I might not be thoroughly in thinking, the strategy of not be thoroughly enjoying it, I will appreciate that game for what it does. And that's the key. And that's why I really don't like this term, although we have to use it, this family weight.
Just because it's entry level.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, because entry level and family weight are not the same thing, I would argue.
But people use them in a similar way.
I know, and they shouldn't. And they're wrong for doing so. And I hate people who do it. And I'm trying to stop that. But I realize is that I can't control other people. I have tried.
It's just like people getting upset at the term filler.
Yes.
Oh, you shouldn't use the term filler. It's a game. It's a game unto itself.
Right. And so there you go. I understand.
Even though those are perfectly adequate terms for that's not a hat, which you can play in 5 minutes while you're waiting for somebody to set up or find the game they want to play
and
for 3 hours.
And that's not a hat is neat.
I enjoyed it a lot. All of these games we played today, we'll discuss them. I don't know when, if we're going to discuss them now.
We discussed Trio and we discussed Whistlestop. I think we've done 2 games. We have maxed out our board game talk.
Okay. All
Just saying.
Next up, banter. Go, Enrique.
I thought we already did banter.
No, it's banter, games, banter. That's the new format. Go, Enrique.
You said we couldn't do that.
Wait, why is it to me?
Because you have said nothing this entire
I talked about
board game portion. How did you feel about Whistlestop?
It was okay. I feel like the movement restriction was a little bit idiotic.
Movement restriction?
Well, yeah, like you couldn't go back to the
had you in a headlock. Oh, yeah, you go backwards with the little whistle.
I thought that was kind of stupid, to be honest.
A train can't go backwards, but it can.
It can, but like, and the token to allow you to go backwards
was a whistle.
It was a whistle.
Which is thematic.
And the only way to get whistles is to get far enough into the rounds of the game, or you find a token,
go across a whistle stop spot.
You wet your whistle.
Yeah, but like I think those are like in the style the
middle.
Is it in the middle?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But well, I mean that's kind of random because those things in the middle are rather random in how they're chosen.
Yeah.
I think,
but it sounds like you didn't like Whistlestop.
Oh, well, I enjoyed it.
You give it a rating.
It was very simple.
1 to 10.
1 to 10.
10 being the greatest games, top 10, one of your top 10 games, and 1 being the worst ever thing you've ever played.
Because 7 is like above average.
6 is above average.
Obviously.
7 is good.
5 is average out of 10.
8 is excellent. 9 is best. 10 is the absolute.
What's 5 again?
Average.
Completely average.
Yeah,
right
it was
now.
average.
Okay.
Take it or leave it.
I would say 5. And if I'm playing it with a family that wants to play it, then I would, yes, I do.
Speaking of railroads, during the late 1800s, a baboon was employed by the railroad as a signalman. He never once made a mistake and worked for the railroad until his death.
How'd he die? Some parachute land on him?
I don't know, but it makes me sad.
Because he died?
Do you think they paid the baboon?
Probably.
No, he was held in captivity and work on this railroad.
Maybe he wanted to.
I don't think he did. He probably wanted to be in a tree eating a banana.
He probably wanted to have meaning, and this was something that he thought was cool.
Switching the signals.
Don't judge him.
He never made a mistake.
Man, that sounds
made a mistake.
I'm not going to lie. That sounds like you like this job, man.
Listen. I don't believe those statements right there. Again,
you're questioning the baboon.
He never made a mistake.
He never made a mistake. I'm the perfect baboon.
I'm not going to lie. That sounds like a bamboo.
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 They've been bamboozled.
We need to find a baboon for the podcast. Replace Enrique.
Dang it. Get you. But this creature sounds like it.
Don't call him a creature.
Well, he is.
A baboon.
He's a creature. Do you not want to know what a creature is?
I bet that's like demeaning.
No, it's not. We're all creatures of habit.
And besides, I'm not going to embarrass myself by saying bamboo again. So I'm going to say creature.
This orangutan.
Ape.
Orangutan.
He's an ape.
An ape. Okay.
Because they don't have tails.
This ape sounded like
Hold
he
on, I gotta go
enjoyed.
get rid of my cat. Keep talking.
Your cat is making noise.
For me, he sounded like he enjoyed this. Made not one mistake.
I know. Why does Gobby hate the fact that this baboon likes his job and is better at it than his?
I don't. It's just
Is
so
he upset
weird.
that this baboon found meaning?
It's like,
Oh,
okay,
can you get your cat? Get that cat
You're
out
not-
of here.
Gabby, let me out.
That is such an annoying cat. Can we just address the fact that Gobby has this cat that came from the street that he then led into his home, and this cat is the whiniest animal.
I'm telling you, he adopted Gabby's
Constantly.
ways.
It whines. That's all you hear constantly.
Yeah, but it's not that bad.
It's bad.
Okay.
Every time I'm here, that cat is whining. And if you don't go feed it or take it outside or do something, it just whines and it doesn't stop.
I understand it, like wanting food and it's trying to
But
get
it's
attention.
fed constant.
It's just
Such a.
Well, that's on Gabby's part, though. You know it is.
Yes, this is what happens when you talk to your cats and you want that high pitched squeal,
We are pimping.
and it's just a yes.
It's
The cat does nothing.
does it not do nothing?
Well, cats as a whole, they're not.
like they don't do a
particularly-
whole lot during the day. I
They're
know
not
that.
particularly useful unless you're using them as mousers. Like I have a barn cat. I have
Yeah.
2 barn cats. They are segregated out. One lives like a mile away in one barn, and one lives by the house
Mhm.
in the garage area, like the storage building. And their jobs are kill rats or just to deter rats. And they do that. We don't have a problem with rats because I've got 2 outside cats that live outside that have their little dog house that's been remade into a cat house for them that they have, that they know, and they sleep during the day, and at night they go out and they kill.
Yeah.
That's their job.
so.
Stack bodies.
I guess like I'm trying to think what this like. There's country cats and then there's city cats.
Yes. And Rio is a lazy, whiny city cat.
So why are they just like that? Is that I'm assuming
You see, he kills things all the time.
He kills nothing of import.
He kills rats and mice and moles.
No, he doesn't.
Lord.
You don't have it. You
spread
don't have
disease. Everything spreads
You live
disease.
in Paris.
It's on the street.
You live in Paris, Texas. You had a guy with a chainsaw come up here to your front door today trying to offer to trim hedges that you don't have.
We have trees with.
Was it hedges? I thought he had a chainsaw. I don't
You
think
can
that's
trim, you can trim a hedge with a chainsaw.
that doesn't seem as
It's not a hedge trimmer, but you can.
Man,
I feel like that I have made my points clear regarding Whistlestop, as has Enrique. And this thus ends this episode, which
Oh.
will no doubt propel us.
Wait.
What?
Well, go ahead and then I'll wait. Go ahead and then I'll stop you.
Go
Okay.
ahead.
Are we going to, for 100% sure, do our call-in episode next,
On when?
January 1st?
Yes, I want to. So January 1st, which is New Year's, Monday, January 1st, Central Standard Time, our time. We will no doubt be recording and we'll be doing a call-in episode. So please join our Board Game Snobs podcast Facebook group
Well, I
or
was going to
Discord.
say, so on the previous one, I was able to just put out a number. On this one, the way, because last time we didn't have a way to put people in queue and line people up.
Right.
And we just
callers.
had to answer whoever happened to be calling. This time, Orion has some sort of conference thing. He will put out a link in which you can click on. To do so, you will need to be in our Facebook group or our Discord, all of which can be found in the show notes of this podcast.
Yes,
Click the show notes.
please.
Join our group, join our Discord. Do not vote for us in the upcoming Golden Geeks.
But you may be motivated to after we speak to you during our yearly call-in episode, our annual call-in episode, where we let you. And if you, this is your chance to ask Enrique or any of us questions. Tell us what your top 10 is.
You can ask us anything, although we may not answer
AMA.
everything.
Yes. No, we will answer.
Ask me some things.
I
But I
will.
want to dodge answers.
You
though.
can ask me. That doesn't mean I'm going
I
to
will
answer.
give you an answer. I will answer.
Always?
Yes,
Which is your favorite kid?
Bob. So I gave you an answer.
Exactly. That's what I'm
Nonsense-
saying.
Nonsensical.
That's what I said. Yeah, you
He
can
didn't
ask
avoid
me.
the question, so
He did avoid the question.
I didn't avoid the question. I
he answered the
it.
question.
He answered the question, but he
Now,
didn't
was
answer
it the
question.
right answer? No.
No.
I mean, does he have
it
a kid
wasn't.
named Bob?
I do not have a kid
He
named
does
Bob. Not to my knowledge.
Right.
But if you're out there, Bob, I love you. And why? First off, Bob is they name your kid Bob. It's Robert. They change. I don't know why. It's like Simpson, like Richard is Dick.
We've already had this
Why?
discussion.
I want to know why.
Just people do it. If you name your kid Robert, do not shorten it to Bob. Call him Robert.
Or Rob, like zombie.
Just don't shorten it. Name your kid what you are going to call them for the rest of their lives.
If it's Herbert,
So technically, if I wanted
don't
to
call
name
him
Herb.
Herb. You're not an Herb.
Bert.
Bart.
Enrique, your family's done well.
It's-
Your name is Enrique.
Yes.
Bartholomew.
That's what everyone calls you.
Yes. Or sometimes.
Yes.
Let's clarify.
What's
that
your middle
sometime.
name?
Ramos.
Ramos.
Wow, I never knew that.
Yeah, it's nice.
What's your social?
My social?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, like,
Your social security number.
oh, I don't know.
I thought you was asking. He
You
thought
don't
you was
know it?
asking like it
I'm
was.
not telling you that, even if I did know.
What's your Snapchat?
Why not?
Anyway,
Huh?
that's enough of this episode. Please vote 5 stars for us, just as Jerry.
This is Gabby.
This is
Thank you for tolerating.
Sorry. So sorry. I know you were expecting the show to be over, but just as a reminder, we are doing a call-in episode January 1st. Put down your sparklers and fireworks and other dangerous items that may cause harm. Pick up the phone and give us a call. We will be recording starting at 12 p.m., high noon, as some say, on New Year's Day, January 1, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. For our listeners in, let's say, the general area of Sydney, that would be 5 a.m. for you. So set those alarm clocks and call in. For those of you in England, I believe that is somewhere around the 6 p.m. time range for you. Lay down your tea and crumpets and pick up that phone. Give us a call. We have a few already interested. Let's just say we have 10 people. We'd like to keep it 3 to 5 minutes per person. We might record for 60 to 90 minutes, allowing for some leeway in there, but we'd like to keep it at the max 5 minutes per phone call, depending on how many phone calls we get. And hopefully that works out. So please, we will provide the links in Facebook and Discord and wherever else I can post it. I'm not sure, but it will be a link, a phone number, something there in which you simply click it and give us a call. And there should be some sort of like queue lineup this time where you won't just have to call and hope it's not busy. There will be an actual like waiting room, like a doctor's office. Sounds fun, doesn't it? Anyway, we would love to hear from you. Feel free to give us a call. If you don't know what to say, don't worry. We'll figure that out. We will ask you the questions. Love you, and good day.
In this episode of the Board Game Snobs, stay classy.